In Greek mythology, there is no single original text like the Christian Bible or the Hindu Vedas that introduces all of the myths, characters, and stories. Instead, the earliest Greek myths were part of an oral tradition that began in the Bronze Age, and their plots and themes unfolded gradually in written literature. Homer's 8th century BC epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, tell the story of the Trojan War as a divine conflict as well as a human conflict. The poet Hesiod's Theogony was the first written story of the Greek mythology. The Theogony tells the story of the universe's journey from nothingness, chaos, a primeval void to being, and details an elaborate family tree of elements, gods and goddesses, who evolved from chaos and descended from Gaia, the earth. At the center of Greek mythology is the pantheon of deities who are said to live on Mount Olympus, the highest mountain in Greece. Greek mythology does not just tell the stories of gods and goddesses. Pandora, the first woman whose curiosity brought evil to mankind. This resembles the same story of Adam and Eve, where Eve is tempted to eat the apple from the tree of knowledge. Monsters and hybrids also feature in the tales. The winged horse Pegasus and the horseman Centaur. The lion woman Sphinx. Unicorns, gorgons, minotaurs, and dragons. Many of these creatures have become almost as well known as the gods, goddesses, and heroes who share their stories. In Greek mythology, the world began with several primordial beings. First came chaos, and then came Gaia. Tartarus, Eros, Erebus, and finally Nyx. Chaos refers to the void state preceding the creation of the universe, or cosmos in Greek mythology, or the initial gap created by the original separation of heaven and earth. Personified as female, chaos was the primal feature of the universe, a shadowy realm of mass and energy from which much of what is powerful, mostly negative, and dark originated from. Gaia is the personification of the earth and one of the Greek primordial deities. Gaia is the ancestral mother of all life, the primal Mother Earth goddess. From Gaia came Uranus, personifying the sky or heaven, from whose sexual union she bore the Titans, themselves parents of many of the Olympian gods. The one-eyed Cyclops giants, and of the Pontus, the sea, from whose union she bore the primordial sea gods. The Titans include the first 12 children of Gaia and Uranus, who ruled during the Legacy Golden Age, and also comprised of the first pantheon of Greek deities. Uranus disliked his children and locked them deep within the earth, causing Gaia great pain. So Gaia devised a plan. Sick of having her children in prison, she made a great sickle that she gave to her son Cronus, the youngest and most terrible of her children. Cronus hid until Uranus came to lie with his mother Gaia. Then Cronus leapt out and sliced off his father's genitals, which fell into the sea and produced the birth of Aphrodite, the giants, and others. Cronus proceeded to release his fellow Titans from prison, and so the Age of the Titans began. Because Cronus had learned from Gaia and Uranus that he was destined to be overthrown by one of his children, he swallowed each of the children born to him by his Titan sister, Rhea. But when Rhea was pregnant with her youngest child Zeus, she asked for help from Gaia and Uranus. When Cronus came to eat his baby Zeus, Rhea fed him a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes instead, which Cronus swallowed, tricking the Titan, and then Gaia took the child Zeus into her care. Gaia raised Zeus until he was strong enough to take on his father Cronus. The two then fought, and upon defeat, Cronus was forced to release Zeus's siblings, starting the war between the Olympus gods and the Titans. The war lasted 12 years, until Zeus freed the Cyclops and the Hecatoncheires giants, whom Cronus had imprisoned, in order to help him defeat the Titans. The Cyclops gifted Zeus his famous thunderbolt, Poseidon his trident, and Hades a hat of darkness, tipping the balance of battle. The Titans defeated were thrown into Tartarus, a prison deep within the underworld. And so began the reign of the gods. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades decided to share the power. Zeus got the sky, Poseidon the seas, and Hades the dead. Zeus, the king of the gods, ruled from his throne on Mount Olympus, home of the immortals, often using as symbols of the thunderbolt and eagle to warn or encourage mortals. Another titan, Atlas, was condemned to hold up the celestial heavens for eternity on his shoulders to prevent it from resuming its primordial embrace with the earth, Gaia. Other gods could be sentenced to Tartarus as well. Apollo is a prime example, although Zeus freed him later. Tartarus, god of the abyss, or underworld. In Greek mythology, Tartarus was both a primordial deity that existed before the Olympians, as well as a name to describe a region of the underworld, the abyss. As a place, it was far below than where Hades resided, and it was used as the most horrible prison. As a god, he was third in rank after Chaos and Gaia. He was the father of Gaia's child, Typhon, who is considered a monster, who would be the last to challenge the authority of Zeus. Although the kingdom of Hades was the place of the dead, Tartarus is where ferocious monsters and horrible criminals were banished, or where the gods imprisoned their rivals after a war, such as the prison for the Titans. According to Plato's Gorgias, Tartarus is where souls are judged after their death, and where the wicked receive divine punishment. Some accounts say that the distance between Tartarus and Hades was the same between the earth and the heaven. Eros, the god of love. Eros, meaning desire, is the Greek god of love. His Roman counterpart was Cupid. Normally he is depicted as one of the children of Aphrodite, however sometimes he is also described as one of the primordial gods. Eros was variously depicted as either a beautiful youth or a mischievous boy who embodies sexual power and a profound artist. Eros is most commonly represented with a bow and an unlimited number of arrows, which he uses to overpower and incite erotic feelings in any mortal or god. Once, he accidentally scraped himself with an arrow, and that's how he fell in love with Psyche, who will later become his wife for eternity. Erebus, god of darkness and shadows. Erebus was one of the primordial deities in Greek mythology. Born out of the primeval void, chaos, it was a personification of the deep darkness and shadows. Nyx, primordial goddess of the night. Nyx was a primordial deity that preceded the Titans and the Olympians and was the personification of the night. She was the daughter of Chaos, out of which all creation originated. Nyx was married to her brother Erebus and had a number of children, including Aether and Hemeta. Hesiod says that Nyx's daughter Hemeta, the day, left Tartarus just as Nyx the night entered it, continuing cyclically. When Hemeta returned, Nyx left. This mirrors the portrayal of Ratri, the night, in the Rig Veda, where she works in close cooperation, but also tension with her sister Ushas, the dawn. The characters, stories, themes, and lessons of Greek mythology have shaped art and literature for thousands of years. They appear in Renaissance paintings, such as Botticelli's Birth of Venus, romantic poetry, and liberation,